Ms. Lee is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the gentleman for yielding and for your patience and for your understanding and for your really very skillful way in bringing us all together to make sure that there was a resolution that we all could support. And I do support H.Res 1361, putting the House, first of all, on record in support of the United States, leading a high-level diplomatic effort to ensure that the Durban Review Conference, better known as Durban II, serves as a forum to review commitments to combat all forms of racism. The resolution also directs the United States to strongly oppose any effort by any party to use the forum as a platform for attacking Israel, for promoting anti-Semitism, or undermining the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Madam Speaker, in 2006, the United Nations General Assembly voted to hold a conference to review the process and progress made by member nations in implementing the Durban Declaration and Program of Action. This declaration was the signal achievement of the World Conference Against Racism, Racial Discrimination, Xenophobia, and Related Intolerance, which was held August 31st through September 7, 2001 in Durban, South Africa. The conference, known as the Durban Conference, was attended by more than 10,000 persons from all corners of the globe. The Review Conference, or Durban II, is scheduled to convene in Geneva, Switzerland in April 2009. This resolution is an important resolution warranting the support of all members. But it's also important for my colleagues to know that, once again, without the leadership of Chairman Berman and Chairman Payne, we would not have this opportunity, and our ranking member, Ileana Ross-Layton, we really wouldn't have this opportunity to put the House on record directing the United States to exercise the strong leadership that we've all talked about at the Durban II conference and to resist any attempt by any party to launch anti-Semitic attacks on Israel. So let me just say it has been a privilege working with all of you over these past several months in crafting this language that reflects our shared commitment to combating racism in all forms and condemning anti-Semitism. I want to say also that I was part of the Durban Conference. Actually, we wrote a letter to the Secretary of State, then Secretary Colin Powell, under the leadership of our Congressional Black Caucus chair, then Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. And we told the Secretary of State then and the State Department that in no way did we believe Durban I should turn into a forum to attack Israel or become an anti-Semitic forum. And that, in fact, we believe this Durban Conference was so important to African Americans and to all minorities in America that we thought then that it was even important on Durban I to try to stop all of the things that the NGO forum allowed to happen. But I want to clarify that that was the forum. That was not the full Durban Conference. We were there. The United States did not send an official delegation. And in fact, there were some delegates there who actually left the conference. But Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, myself, and others, we said we would end up just being the official delegation. I think there were 7 or 8 of us at Durban, because we felt it was so important to first stay there to make sure that we could try to ensure that it was focused on combating racism. And secondly, there were hundreds and hundreds of African Americans at that conference. This was one of the first conferences where African Americans could go abroad and talk about all forms of racism and what had happened and what the transatlantic slave trade really was all about, and its legacies and its vestiges. So this is an important conference. This resolution, let me just mention and summarize some of the provisions of this resolution. First, to review the progress and assess implementation of the declaration by all stakeholders. May I have another couple minutes, please?
Gentleman yields.
Additional 2 minutes.
Gentleman yields additional 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. To review the progress and assess the implementation of the Durban Declaration, to assess the effectiveness of the existing Durban follow-up mechanisms and other relevant United Nations mechanisms dealing with racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance, to promote the universal ratification and implementation of the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, and to identify and share good practices in the fight against racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance. We should support this resolution because it says very explicitly that we will not allow and impugn and support behavior at any of these conferences, including we condemn what happened at the 2001 NGO Forum as it relates to anti-Semitism and attacks on Israel. And this is important because it really does encourage this active participation by the United States in this conference, because I can guarantee you, just as the 7 or 8 of us members of the Black Caucus who went to Durban the first time tried to beat back any type of anti-Semitism that we saw bubbling, we will do that this time, and we want an official high-level delegation along with us to go to Durban so that we can do the business and move forward to participate in a world forum to combat racism and discrimination. I'm proud of the fact that the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights supports this. Mr. Berman laid out who all is involved in that conference. It's a good resolution. It's a resolution that deserves our support on both sides of the aisle. Thank you again, Mr. Berman, for your leadership.
Gentlewoman yields back.